Saving America is taking on the national debt in a special mini series. Welcome, this is Dr. David D. Schein for Saving America. How can we decrease the national debt without sacrificing the capability of the U.S. military? A key question at any point in time, certainly very important today with the current invasion of Ukraine by Russia and the threats by China, Iran, and North Korea, to name a few considerations as to why we might care about the military. The national debt is a concern. It has popped over $28 trillion. It's a dwarfing number. In my book, Decline of America, I talk about the fact that the national debt is a somewhat artificial number because it does not show military pensions, government pensions, and many other indebtednesses of the United States that are not in this official number. So that what's even scarier is that the overall obligations of the United States could approach $100 trillion, a truly daunting number. I wanted to note that the United States is on top, and I think if we were Greece or Italy or Ecuador or El Salvador or some other country, that this type of spending and national debt would put us in the trusteeship of the UN in the World Bank. And that's one of the things that I keep thinking about is that if we slip off this number one stool that we're on, and it's getting to be kind of a shaky stool, that we run the risk of catastrophic conditions financially that people are just, I think so many people out there are just not willing to confront the reality. And I did want to address something. I'm a conservative, a lifelong conservative, and certainly I liked President Reagan. I didn't think he was the best guy. And part of the reason I didn't is because I'm a big fan of national defense. And what Reagan did was he traded, and this is something that's a common theme we've talked about this morning already, is he traded getting more national expenditures for military. And Tip O'Neill made a deal with him and said, well, while we're sitting here having some beers, you're going to give us all of the social programs that we've already got and enhance them. In exchange for that, we'll let you pump up the debt some more to add to add for national defense. And as long as we're trading and we're not saying, nope, there's a fixed number here, and no matter what happens in life, we're going to have a strong military. And I think most Americans would, maybe many Americans today don't appreciate what is important in terms of the military, because I cringe every time I hear some whack out there say, oh, climate change is the existential threat. No, folks, national security is clearly the existential threat. But I don't think we need to spend as much money as we've been spending. I think we need to spend it far more intelligently. Like, we've spent a lot of money in other countries, and yet China just snuck in a hypersonic missile. And the information we got the other day is that missile launched a secondary missile while it was in flight. And that's really got some people excited. So I'm hoping, and I was a little kid when Sputnik went up in 1957, I'm hoping that we will have what I call a Sputnik moment, and people around the country are going to wake up to some of the realities. One of them is the national debt. The other one is national security. And with that, let's hear some comments from our folks here.
Well, one thing I was going to bring up is not necessarily the military, but avoiding war and not meddling in other countries' affairs. And this is expensive stuff. And I think that's one of the biggest ways that we can not reduce all the national debt, but at least reduce a good chunk of the national debt. So if you look at various places where we're involved in Africa, in the Middle East, I just think I'm a fan of America first and focusing on us and bringing everything back here. And at least for the time being, maybe in the future, there are other interests or other reasons for us to get involved elsewhere. But I thought the fact that Trump was the first president in my lifetime who didn't start a major war was a huge accomplishment. I think leaving Afghanistan was a good decision. The way we left was terrible, probably the biggest military blunder of our lifetimes. But I thought leaving was a good decision, just like I thought finally leaving Vietnam and leaving Iraq were good decisions as well.
Well, we have two military vets on our discussion today. Scott or Ed, do you want to discuss that or alternately?
Well, I think Biden's withdrawal from Afghanistan is the biggest military blunder in the history of this country. It's absolutely, it's unimaginable how that happened. But then again, with Joe Biden, nothing is unimaginable anymore. I don't know how the man sleeps at night, but yeah, you're right. It was the biggest military blunder. And President Trump did keep us out of any new wars. And that's certainly, something I've never seen in my lifetime either. And I'm praying we bring Trump back to the White House in 2024 to start undoing all this damage that Joe Biden and his Build Back Better plan has done. Because we're not building anything back better under Joe Biden. But another thing I wanted to mention also was someone had mentioned climate change as being the biggest issue we're facing. I think climate change is the biggest hoax ever perpetrated on the American public. I mean, it's just a shame that these liberals have managed to use this, as a way of getting votes, throwing red meat to their liberal base and destroying our economy. The other thing I see that is disturbing is part of the reason we're in the mess we're in. We've lost our values along the way. I read two things this morning that got my attention. Number one, New York City Hall just voted to remove a statue of Thomas Jefferson. It's been there for 187 years. I can't imagine why these people are so offended by Thomas Jefferson, our third president. It's unbelievable. The other thing that disturbed me, and I know one person here is also from the great state of Florida, is I read this morning that Nancy Pelosi has just bought a $25 million mansion here, and she's moving from San Francisco to Florida.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
I've got to look. But it kind of shows you, here Pelosi has been doing her best to destroy this country and ruin our economy, but it doesn't affect her because she's so rich, she doesn't get it. These limousine liberals don't understand what they're doing and how it's hurting the majority of people in this country. And that's why, unless we replace them, they're never going to stop taxing us and spending our money and increasing this national debt.
Yeah. Scott, what do you think about how do we keep a strong military and cut the debt at the same time?
Well, I think you're right, David, about the spend more intelligently. The part of the challenge, and if you look at the inside game, if you look at the F-35 as an example, almost every state in the country is building some component of the F-35. It's taken longer and it's being more expensive than any other military project. And it's really unbelievable. It's because the way we play this political game. So it's all about you get your piece, you get your piece, you get your piece, you get your piece. Heck with efficiency and heck with let's do the best possible product that we can. So there's a lot of ways, but again, nobody wants to give up anything. And this goes back to, and the point has been made by many of the panelists already, is once you start giving something someone, people will fight more to hold on to what they already have than they will to get something new. Even if the something new is better, because they have it, they will fight hard to keep it. So this is why we never shut down a government program. We just add another one on top of it, and it just grows and grows and grows. And it's both sides of the aisle. It's all, if you look at what's happening with the debt, the thing has just gone up and up and up. All doesn't matter who's in power. It's the same system. We need to change the system.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Saving America. This is Dr. David D. Schein. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on your favorite platform.